What's up, guys? I'm here to share my journey with you. I've been receiving lots of questions lately about what I'm doing, how things have changed, that I've been looking leaner, toner, all the things, and low-key, here's my secrets that I want to share with you. And I want to share kind of where my journey started, what I've gone through, and how I'm at where I'm currently, because I feel like understanding the why and the purpose will help you understand where to go next in your own personal journey. So I have done health and fitness my whole life in some regards and capacity. I could go into kind of the background later on, but in that regards, I've tried at-home workouts. That's what I did to get me through grad school. Is I would wake up at 5 a.m. and I would do workouts in the basement and get ready to go to school for the day. And then I would do different types of nutrition plans in regards to containers, macros, and I felt like I always needed to be in a deficit. And I used to be honestly really hard on myself if I would overeat or if I wasn't on track exactly. I felt like I had to add in more cardio or go do something to make it up. And I was in a really bad place mentally. And it took me a really long time to get out of that. Honestly, it wasn't until I found CrossFit that things changed. And a lot of that was because I had the realization that it was more fun to become stronger than it was to deprive myself from food or nutrition. And so it's interesting to say that because I remember going into the gym my first day of CrossFit and I was like, I do not want to look like a CrossFitter. Like, don't make me look like a CrossFitter. I don't want to look like that. I'm just here to try this out. And so here we are years later, and I have to say it's been a freaking wild ride, and I love it, and I wouldn't change a thing. And so most recently, what has changed for me is honestly using the Phorm App. And this is something that I've calculated macros before in the past. I've worked with a multitude of different coaches, and nothing in regards to bad things to say about them. Like, they're amazing people, and I respect them 1,000%. It just wasn't for me in regards to, I felt like I was just at a plateau. So at this point, I was just doing things completely on my own, and I wanted to just try something new. And honestly, the cost and investment wasn't as expensive as working with someone individually. And so I was like, what the heck, I'm just gonna try this. They had an 8-week challenge going on. I just wanna see if it's for me. And it completely changed my world. I was honestly super nervous at first because the macros were different than what I'd previously done with different coaches, and I was worried about losing my strength gains. And that was like the biggest thing, is I was like, well, I want to look better, but I also don't want to become weaker. Like, I'm still trying to be a really strong person because it's just really fun to get stronger in the gym, whether it's gymnastics, whether it's lifting, whatever skills in life that you're working on. It's just fun to be strong, and it just gives you that sense of empowerment. And so I decided that I was like, all right, I'm going to commit to this for 8 weeks, and then we're going to see what happens. And it was so wild to me because I actually started hitting PRs in the gym, and I started seeing results. I'm actually wearing like crop tops and actually feeling good about them. Before, I'd wear them, but I just like didn't have the confidence. And I honestly thought in my head, no joke, I was like, all right, I guess my ideal body of what I want to look like and those that I admire and see on social media or wherever you're looking, that is not for me. And I guess it's genetics, or, you know, I'm not doing something, or I just can't follow things strict enough, or I'm not taking the right things and supplements and that type of stuff. I really thought that there was just something, and I was just like, this is just where I was. And so I was really honestly surprised when I started actually seeing the results that I wanted to. And a lot of that came from honestly just consistency of tracking. You get an advisor as well, and your advisor will check in with you. So every week you're taking progress photos, which at first can be tedious, but oh my goodness, it's so rewarding to look back to, and I absolutely love it. And they're always logged in there. So even if you forget, those photos are there to remind you, whether it's a week ago or 4 weeks ago or 8 or months ago at this point. It's there to remind you how far you've become, how far you've come. Because when you're on a journey, it's hard to remember that at times, and to reflect back on like where you started and the fact that you are making progress. And so anyway, so I love that feature. That was kind of a tangent about that, but it's something that I thought was tedious at first, but has then also been super rewarding. And your advisor will send you check-ins, so you'll do an assessment, And then based on your answers, you'll adjust things on how you need. And then that kind of caters to your goals. So having that accountability is huge. And that goes into just like, hey, how are you doing mentally? Hey, have you thought about possibly adding in a supplement? And I say that in regards to, I'm horrible about getting in my variation of greens throughout the day. I am very, very simple when it comes to my nutrition. I personally get all my nutrition from my Fit Foods because I would love to say that I love cooking and meal prepping and all the things, but I just don't. I value my time way more than I can enjoy meal prepping. And so I go pick up a majority of my foods and it just fits to my macros that I'm doing, but I'm not very good at like having much variety in my foods. And so for gut health, bloating, digestion, that type of stuff, I found adding greens has really helped with that. And that came from my advisor telling me and educating me on, here's the purpose of why I would suggest adding it in. You can either do one of two things, try to get in more veggies and fruits, or you can try this supplement. And so I was like, what the heck not? I have nothing to lose. And so just having little educational pieces has been super beneficial because these were the knowledge gaps that I was missing. I'll see stuff on social media, whether it's a supplement, whether it's a powder, whether it's something that we all see on social media that we're like, oh, if I just take this one thing. But having the knowledge is huge because sometimes it's not always about the product. Sometimes it's about making small changes in your day-to-day that can help you see those results as well. And so that was a key piece for me, is having someone in my corner constantly checking in with me versus just having a plan and then it was up to my own due diligence on how well I would do. Even though I thought I would do it to a T, I'm sure there's probably gaps that I was missing. And so having someone formally check in with me was a big game changer for me. And then there's also workouts in there and there's a bunch of education. So there's a bunch of different lectures you can watch, you can go back, and there's always someone giving some piece of advice to help you move the needle forward in your own fitness journey. And so I share this because this is how I started. So even if you see me sharing supplements or fitness or anything like that, honestly, when it comes to how to get started in your journey, I highly recommend just starting with a plan. Whether it's following me and using the app that I'm using, and you can join me in my journey, and I would love to be your advisor and work with you as well, or it's you doing your own thing. It's about having a plan and building consistency on top of that plan. Even if you have the best plan out there, but it does not fit your lifestyle, there's no way that you're going to stay consistent. And so I highly recommend that finding a plan that works for you, that you can do in regards to your day-to-day, that you can be consistent with, is what's going to get you the best results. And as always, I'm always here. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any other questions.